I was trying to think whether you're fixing the mic or just taking a photograph. Despite Nehru's moving rhetoric in favor of literacy for all, which was plentifully present even in his justly celebrated speech on the eve of independence on the 14th of August 1947, the speech on India's quote-unquote tryst with destiny, despite all that, Nehru in fact did shockingly little for literacy. I would suggest that Jawaharlal Nehru did not really think through how to ensure the practical realization of his goal of literacy for all, in which he did believe with sincerity and conviction, but not with any sense of practicality. It was, however, entirely different as far as technical education is concerned. Here Nehru's sense of ways and means nicely supplemented his fervent passion. My friend John Kenneth Galbraith, who died fairly recently, told me how he would be again and again called by Nehru mediating between India and MIT and other institutions to get IIT started and be in a solid footing. There's a tradition here that can be taken in many different directions, and it's a matter of much satisfaction that the IT industry's use of the same respect is remarkably positive and potentially open and inclusive. I'll come back to that question of inclusiveness later on. It's an important subject on which there is a case for a more deliberation and action, and indeed Jerry Rao has already started that in his introduction. But before that, let me comment on a few other connections, since they are often missed, between the success of IT in India and some particular features of India's past. Going well beyond respect for specialized skill, there's also a general attitude of openness in India to influences from far and near, of admiring excellence no matter where it's produced. This is particularly important since the IT success of India did draw initially, as indeed was inevitable, on what was going on with much accomplishment abroad. The experience of the Silicon Valley in particular was very important for the yearning of skilled and discerning Indians to learn from others and then to make good use of it. While many Indians have a deep preference for what we can see as total local immersion and even succumb to evidently strong temptations to denigrate things happening abroad, and this attitude rears its ugly head from time to time in contemporary Indian politics as well, there has also been, for thousands of years, a very robust tradition here of admiring, using, and learning from excellence anywhere in the world. The IT technical experts, now this is beginning to fall. Can I do anything with it, Jerry? Do you have any emergency advice? I don't want it to land. Well, it's not easy to get rid of it. It's connected by electricity there, I think. Oh, it's a light. Okay, good. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. The IT technical experts may not readily perceive that there is a remarkable similarity between their own valuational commitment to learn what they can from anywhere which has good ideas to offer, and the open and welcoming attitude to departures originating elsewhere, which Rabindranath Tagore articulated with compelling clarity in a letter to a friend, in a letter to Charlie Andrews, in fact, in the 1920s, at the height of India's struggle for national independence. I quote from Tagore: "Whatever we understand and enjoy in human products instantly become ours, wherever they might have their origin. I am proud of my humanity when I can acknowledge the poets and artists of other countries as my own. Let me feel with unalloyed gladness that all the great glories of man are mine. Therefore, it hurts me deeply when the cry of rejection rings loud against the West in my country with the clamor that Western education can only injure us, unquote. It is, of course, to the credit of Western centers of excellence in education and practice that they were so welcoming to learners from abroad. I think America and Europe do not always get enough recognition for its liberal priorities in this field, despite their narrow-minded national and local priorities in other areas, such as trade restriction. But it is also important to see that the interest and initiatives of bright Indians to learn from abroad for domestic use was strongly founded on an open-minded willingness to comprehend, as Tagore put it, that whatever we understand and enjoy in human products instantly becomes ours, wherever they might have their origin. I want to point to one further connection between the development and achievement of Indian IT and the Indian traditions on which the Indian IT draws. I don't refer here only to the love of mathematics that has inspired so many young Indians throughout history. For IT, mathematics is clearly important in many different ways. The general math friendliness of Indian intellectuals is relevant here. The mathematician Bhaskar even tried to convince his daughter Lilavati, some 700 years ago, the daughter Lilavati, that if she came to master mathematical puzzles, then she would be highly popular when she went to parties, which seems to me to be, to see the least, a little doubtful. But aside from being fascinated by maths, the Indian intellectuals have also typically been very excited about arguments in general. It's a subject on which I have even indulged in writing a book which Jerry kindly referred. Incidentally, in my last trip to Mumbai, I was impressed to be offered a cut-price, pirated edition of my book by a street vendor near the airport, who also, I should add, has the exquisite taste of explaining to me that this book was quite good. And from him very cheap. IT is a hugely interactive operation, and in many ways Indian IT has depended on what we may call TI, that is, talkative Indians. It's not hard to see how a tradition of being thrilled by intellectual altercations tend to do a lot to prepare someone to the challenges of IT interactions. Given what the country has done for Indian IT, it's not silly to ask what specially can the IT industry do for India other than what happens automatically without any deliberate pursuit of non-business ends. That seems to me to be right. But I would also like to emphasize here that historical reciprocity is not the only, perhaps not even the most important reason for being interested in the social obligations of the IT industry. Many other considerations arise there also. There is, of course, the elementary issue of the obligation of those who, quote-unquote, make it vis-à-vis those who do not manage quite so well, which is a very basic ethical demand that it can be argued society places upon us.